Baby Boomer fans, we are Jackie and Janine, the Pfeiffer sisters, and love to talk about the 1950s, inviting you to reminisce with us as we explore experiences of that decade. Grab your favorite malt or Green River, make sure you are wide awake, and get ready to be inspired about the 1950s. Welcome to the 1950s Fun Chat. Greetings, friends. Thank you for joining us. It's just a wonderful Fun Chat day, 1950s Fun Chat Day. And this Fun Chat that we are going to be sharing with you might come in and pretty handy for the next few months when there's some special sales going on in the community. Jackie, what do we have?
Good introduction, yes. But before we do, folks, look at www.whilethewindmillwatch.com. That's that banner down below, a purple banner. And we invite you to go there to find out all sorts of information about these hosts here who happen to be the authors of that book that you see up in the corner. While the Windmill Watched, a slice of rural America in the 1950s. And it focuses on history, which isn't too far away. It was a modern history of the 1950s in rural America. So we will begin right now because we have lots of things to cover. And I'm going to start with something that may or may not be familiar to you, but here goes. It says, "On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law." These familiar words of the Girl Scout promise will be discussed by our guest, Virginia Dowling. Now, Virginia was born in 1947 in Ames, Iowa. She moved to Urbana, Illinois in 1949, and then they moved to the Cleveland area in 1955. At age 8, she became a Brownie and continued in the Girl Scout program into adulthood. While attending Iowa State University, she helped with the Girl Scout troop and was a counselor at Girl Scout camps several summers. After graduating from physical therapy training and getting married in 1971, she settled in Ames and continued as a Girl Scout leader for many years. Her daughter is continuing the scouting tradition by being a Girl Scout leader for her two daughters' troops. So, Virginia, we welcome you to the 1950s Fun Chat.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. So before we start talking about the 50s, we're going to learn the differences between Girl Scouts and Brownies. And to do this, please take us back to the beginning of the Girl Scout organization in 1912, and then move on to the addition of the Brownies program in the mid-1920s, and insert whatever you think we might want to hear.
Okay. Well, the Girl Scouts, as you said, were started in Savannah, Georgia, by Julia Gordon Lowe, and that was in March 12th, 1912. Julia Lowe had been over in Europe and England and was friends with Lord and Lady Baden-Powell, who started the Boy Scouts and Girl Guides over there, and she brought the program to America in 1912. It grew very rapidly. That was a time when people wanted it. They felt that was something important for girls and boys to have organizations to teach them basic skills and things that were no longer, because they weren't on the farm as much anymore. So they didn't learn all the things that you learned when you were living on a farm. And so they started learning housekeeping and cooking, and then also camping, which they felt was really an important skill to have. The Brownies were started really not until the 1938, I think they were formally recognized. So that was quite a while later. And at that time, the levels of the scoutings Brownies were 7 to 9 years old, and the intermediates were 9 to 14, and then the senior scouts were 14 and up until 18 when they graduated from high school. And that was the program when I started in 1955. And so that was, so the Brownies were started at that point.
Ginny, what were there different kinds of programs for Brownies versus Scouts, or were the themes still the same, just taught?
The theme was basically the same, but at each level, there became the encouragement was for more girl-oriented programming. So the girls would start out, the brownies were basically, they'd make little decisions. And by the time you got to be seniors, you were hopefully planning much of the program that they would want, that you would want as a troop. So, and the girls, these levels have changed. When in 1965, there was a big change. And they had the brownies starting again from basically second and third grade, junior level, which had the green uniforms, from third to fourth to sixth grade. Cadets were, at that time, you got to remember that at that time we had junior high. We didn't have middle school. So it was junior high age, and then seniors were the higher ones. And each program had a little bit more a little bit different. The ranks and things were a little bit harder as you grew up.
How were the potential Scouters recruited? Mostly
it was they would, in the schools, they would, hand out, they'd have some flyers that were handed out, and any kids that wanted to join up called the leader or whoever was organizing. So that was, very much like it's done today. So
what are some of the values of that Girl Scout law? What does that mean?
Okay, the Girl Scout law, again, it has been changed. And I should mention the promise has been changed too. When I took it, it was, on my honor, I will try to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. You had that duty to do, and now it's serve. So, and the Girl Scout, it's been simplified, and I don't have the new ones here, but the ones that I learned, basically they're ideas where people to build good character. This is what a person of good character would have. It says a Girl Scout's honor is to be trusted. A Girl Scout is loyal. A Girl Scout's duty is to be useful and to help others. A Girl Scout is a friend to all and a sister to every other Girl Scout or guide. These are laws that were basically created back by the original Scouts, Juliet Lowe and the Powells. Okay. A Girl Scout is courteous. A Girl Scout is a friend to animals. A Girl Scout obeys orders. A Girl Scout is cheerful. A Girl Scout is thrifty. A Girl Scout is clean in thought, word, and deed. So we're often reviewed every year. We usually would have several ceremonies where we would review the laws and the promise. Okay. And light candles and everything like that. I do have a picture of one ceremony. If I can find here. If you can see this is a picture from a ceremony.
Oh, yes.
When I was young.
And where are you in this?
I'm the third one over in the line there, the sort of taller one. This would probably be about fifth grade.
Did you know any of these girls then before you joined?
Oh, yes. Most of the girls, they would be usually organized by schools. The troops would be organized by schools. So these were kids that were in your school. So you knew most of them. I don't remember them all, but
tell us, were you excited to join, or what was your feeling?
Oh yes, I was excited. I was waiting to join. I don't know. My sister said that when she joined in second grade. I didn't join until third grade. I don't know if that's because the school that I had been in Urbana didn't have a Scout program, or whether my mother was just so darn busy because she had two little young children at that time and another one on the way. So
yes.
Yeah. So that was a thing. But yeah, no, I was my parents were had been active in scouting when they were young. In fact, my both of them had been to Girl Scout camp, Boy Scout and Girl Scout camp. In fact, my father had grown up here in Ames and went to Matigua, which was the big Boy Scout camp here in central Iowa.
Okay.
And
Is that just for Iowa Scouters, or is that a national?
it's, the Matigua is central Iowa,
Oh,
Des
okay.
Moines and all the central Iowa. It's the big summer camp.
hmm
My son went there too, so we had at least 2 generations.
Has membership been able to be sustained through the generations?
It's dropped. Um, yeah, and it usually, even in my time, it would drop between, we'd have a lot more brownies and we'd have a little fewer at the junior level. And, as you went up in school, kids
Sure.
got busy with other stuff. So,
Sure.
but yes, it's been more of a challenge. And it's also a challenge right now to recruit adults to lead the scouts, because
yes.
they do need training. They have encouraged training. A lot of this is around the, of course, at that time we didn't have the problem of sexual, abuse and things. So but nowadays they're very strict about that.
Okay.
You're only supposed to have 2 adults at every meeting, for instance.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Well, I mentioned in the introduction that this was a very special time of the year because of sales. Well, what does that have to
cookie
do
sales. Okay.
with the
Cookie sales.
Yeah.
I looked it up yesterday just because I wanted to see. And they were started fairly early, but they were girls that baked the cookies themselves.
Oh,
In the early days, in the 1920s and up through 1930s. And they would sell them usually at a local place where they would sell them for their troop for money. And I think, like during World War II, though, they said that because they had, there was all sorts of, you couldn't get the baking ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
And so instead they sold calendars.
Oh.
And of course, they still sell calendars, but that's usually done in the fall. But the cookies, as we know them today, probably that merchandising current sales started in the 1950s, which when I was doing. I remember dragging my little wagon around to everybody's door to sell the cookies, the boxes of cookies. And at that time we had the Thin Mints, we had a sandwich cookie, and I think like a shortbread cookie. I think those were the 3 kinds we had. And but those were now organized usually by the consul. The consul is a group of several towns that have gone together to form a council. The council, for instance, in Iowa, the central Iowa area used to be Mongoina. I don't know if it still is or not, but it used to have Ames, Boone, Des Moines, Marshalltown, all those. And so and usually there's a camp that's associated with the council in central Iowa at Sacagawea. But the cookie sales, about half of the cookie sales go to the Scout Council. That's their big fundraising to keep up the camp, and also to have the adult scouts or the professional scouts who help do the program. But there is a significant amount of each cookie sale that goes to the troop.
Good. Yeah.
And so they can plan things. And there's also cookie credit that girls get, and that will help them pay for camp.
Okay.
Right now, my granddaughter, my older granddaughter, so it will depend on how many cookies she sold as to which camp she gets to go to.
Oh, sure. Well, tell me, what skills do you feel you learned by being a Girl Scout cookie salesman?
Well, I think I learned, definitely you learned how to make money or how to count money out and things. That was the thing. But I think it was also the responsibility. You take the names down and you make sure that you've and as I said, when I was young, we just went around door to door and sold them. Now, in the older days, now you take orders and then you have to deliver them to the people.
Oh, okay.
So, but they do have the booth sales, which will be starting probably very soon here in the stores. And I know that takes up a lot of Saturdays for girls because they have to organize the booth sales so they can go in Saturdays or Sundays. and do the booth sales.
Do you remember what those first cookies sold for?
I can't remember, but I think it was like 45 cents a box.
My goodness. And a box would be a dozen, maybe?
Oh, it'd probably be, they're not much different than the boxes we have today, but it's just that much has gone up since 45 cents. I remember, I think it was when I was a senior, we were doing a booth sale and the leader's husband was there. We were doing it at a grocery store. And he says, okay, remember, it's 45 cents, 2 for $1.
Okay. How did that go?
Well, we knew better than to do that.
So tell me when it started where the cookies were being commercially made, whereas previously they weren't. What year was that?
As I said, I think it was in the 50s. That's all I know. That's all I could find out. It was by 55 when I joined, you were selling them. And I don't know, I can't remember whether we sold them as brownies. I think we may have not sold them as brownies at that time, but I can't remember for sure.
And are brownies selling cookies now?
Oh, yeah. In fact, we have daisies selling. I didn't mention that the other thing is that, as I said, nowadays you have the brownies and you have the junior, the cadets, seniors, and then we added daisies in 84.
Yes.
84, which were for kindergarten and first grade.
Oh.
One of my daughters was a daisy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I bet you find a lot of enthusiasm in that daisy group.
Oh, yes.
And can you tell us why they were called daisies?
Because Juliet Lowe was referred to as Daisy. That was her nickname, Daisy.
Oh, okay.
So that I know.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So can you recall things, maybe some outstanding things events when you were brownie, or was that too long ago?
Well, I can't remember a lot of them, but I do remember the brownie story.
Okay.
The brownie story is that the two little kids were worried because their mother was having to work so hard, and they heard that were the brownies in the forest that would come and help them help their mother do things. So they went to the wise old owl to see how they could find a brownie. And the wise old owl says, well, go down to the pond and do this little ditty, twist me and turn me and show me the elf. I looked in the water and saw
myself.
Wow.
So they were the brownies, and they went back and helped their mother.
Oh, sweet.
So that was the brownie story. So and of course that's the way they still, as far as I know, they still initiate brownies. They have a little mirror, and you twist and turn and show me the elf. And I also remember the brownie song.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So anybody who knows it can sing it with me. I've something in my pocket. It belongs across my face. I keep it very close to me in a most convenient place. I'm sure you'll never guess it if you guessed a long, long while. So you take it out and put it on. It's a great big brownie smile.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that. So tell me about the uniform of a brownie. What's that represent?
Well, I think they thought brown, so they have a brown.
Okay.
So they
have
just
little brownie elves.
Little brownie elf, yeah. The uniforms have changed a lot over the years, of course.
Okay.
And I think probably more for girls than the boy. The Boy Scouts don't change very much because they're not worried about fashion. But girls. When I was a brownie, it was a brown dress and a little brown beanie.
Yes.
And then when you got up to Girl Scouts, and again, the green was more of it's always been a scouting thing, but it was when by the time we were there, the young girls were a bright green. Of course, when they were first started, it was more of a olive green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you look back at some of the old things, and there are also a lot of scouts in other countries that have blue.
Oh.
Girl Scouts and Girl Guides are a worldwide phenomena.
Okay.
And there's a World Association of Girl Scouts and Girl Guides. And I think maybe now is a good time to show my pin.
Okay.
Mhm. Let me.
I guess first I'll show the brownie pin.
Oh, yes.
The brownie
Okay.
pin. And
And
then
so
the stars
the-
mean how many years you were in it.
Okay. The stars are.
Yeah. Now, these are like when I was in, we ended up putting those directly on our uniform. This
Mhm.
may be my daughter's tab.
Is that a brown felt?
Just a brown felt tab
Okay.
that
Okay.
can pin on here. So you can pin it on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's my adult scouts. I think this is the actual pin I got when I became a junior scout or an intermediate scout.
Mhm.
This is the number of years you've been in, and usually they'd be stars, but I got to where I have so many that have too many stars.
Yes.
So I was in there. I was actively things in 30 years, and
Wow.
this is the world pin for the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. And it's the law is on the one side, the promise is on the other side, the needle is so the direction of the things, and the flame I can't remember for sure. It's sort of the base.
Mm-hmm.
And then this little yellow thing right there that was added later. That's the fact that I was a leader.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
What treasured memories you have of that.
I wish I
Wow.
could. I wish I had my name. I don't know where I hid my
Your sash?
sash when I moved a couple years ago, but I don't have it.
Yes. Ginny, did the local Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops ever do anything together, fundraising
Very seldom. Very seldom. The Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts operate a little bit differently, and I think for instance, the Boy Scouts, the merit badges are often done individually, as maybe the troop will work on a couple things, but for the most part, they're individual things that they get their little booklet and they work it up and they work with a badge counselor and get their badge.
Oh.
And then they're awarded them at a ceremony and everything, so that's fine. The Girl Scouts, while you can do that, you can work on the programs individually and work with your leader to get them. A lot of them are done just as a troop. So the whole troop together will work on a badge.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end.
Is there a certain project each year that the troop on which the troop focuses?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. And sometimes, it depends on the leader and it depends on the girls.
Mhm.
We try to get the input. They try to get the input for the girls as to what they want to do.
What might be some of those programs?
Okay, well, the badges, for instance, I did get some badges. I don't know if I don't have any badges, but like these are pages. This is a page. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
This is a page out of my Girl Scout handbook that my sister has.
Uh-huh.
And like, for instance, the badges here, the one is adventure. And you have to do 8 of the activities, and there are 11 activities, including the starred ones.
Okay.
For instance, a star one is on a hike, show that you know good manners in the out of doors and observe the rules of the road. So you know how to do. And another one, a starred one, is lay and light a foundation fire and demonstrates the point of fire safety. So, the troop would get together. They'd plan some sort of hike where they could go out and do the roads of the road, and they do that. And then there are other ones that you choose. For instance, one that I have checked here that I probably did was whip the end of a rope and demonstrate the use of a square knot and a clove hitch.
Uh-huh.
I can do a square knot, and I can do a clove hitch, and I can do a bowline, and I can do several other knots. I was good at knots. I don't know how good that is.
You were the naughty girl, huh?
Yeah. And I was also very good at doing fire. And then the other one on here was backyard camper. We did that one. But I know there is outdoor cook and build and fire for yourself by yourself for the troop, and and patrol cookout. So everybody had to build their own fire someplace along the way and make cooking utensils from natural materials. There was another, let's see, cook on a cookout, take care of cleanup, demonstrate to put out a fire, dispose garbage, and wash utensils. So there's a lot of safety in all the badges.
Yes. Do you remember learning how to start that first fire?
Oh, I don't know the first fire, but I know how to start a fire. You make a little A-frame.
Okay.
And you put the tinder on it, and then you get the fire started and gradually feed it. And of course, we learned how to make fire starters from.
What kinds of foods did you cook over that campfire?
A lot of times we did a lot of one-pot meals.
Okay.
Of course, the old foil dinners. You remember those foil dinners?
Yes.
The hamburger and the potatoes and the carrots but we also did foil dinners where you would like brown meat, and then you'd put in soup things, so it's sort of a stew type thing. But then when you get older, you can do a lot of fancier things. I mean, I've done we'd had reflective cooking where we had made a reflector oven, and you could cook biscuits and cookies and things like that. And in the morning, we'd often cook eggs. Sometimes we'd do pancakes. So I found that French toast worked better than pancakes over a griddle because they didn't burn as fast.
Okay.
And so we often did encourage kids to do French toast rather than pancakes.
Okay.
Well, we had eggs, and I remember there was a breakfast in a sack where I think you put bacon in first, and then you put an egg, and I think it was an orange slice or something in a paper sack. And you had to have really good coals. You put the bacon in first so that it sort of wet the bottom of the sack, and then you put the egg and the things in to cook. And you had to have real good coals. That was one of the tricks that you had to learn, is that how you get a fire from a blazing fire down to coals so that you could really cook things.
I wonder how many of our viewers remember all these things that we're talking about, and remember the first time they started a camping fire or cook something in Scouts. Yeah. How fun. We'd love to know that, folks, and put in their comments if you had experience with this.
Yeah, and then when one of the fun ones I used to do is that, and this was more when I got up to the camp, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a moment, but we'd do a beanhole cooking, where you dig a pit, and you'd put some bricks inside of it, and you'd put the fire in and get the fire all nice and hot, and then you put things in a Dutch oven and put it in the beanhole and cover it over. We've cooked pies that way, cornbread that way, things like that. So
interesting. Yeah. Interesting. When was the last time you went camping? Not necessarily Scouts, but just as an adult.
That was a long time, quite a while ago. Okay. So I wouldn't even venture a guess. And I had troops up till about the time shortly after my daughter graduated from high school, and then I sort of dropped out, and it was because I was busy with other stuff. But and so that was probably about 2000.
Okay.
So Virginia, sorry. What do you think is the most difficult badge that you ever earned, and why?
Oh, I can't remember. I cannot remember. But now we would earn badges, and then we had ranks. And so to get like first class, you'd have to have so many badges, or second class, you have to have so many badges. I should mention the thing that one of the things that's always on a thing was when you went from brownies to juniors, you got a little pair of wings that you flew up.
Oh,
but then you were the second class, first class, and then in my case, it was the curved bar, which was the final one. I know they had a service component. All the ranks had a service component, and certain badges, and also certain other things that you had to do. So this is my curved bar.
Oh, yes. Does the red color stand for anything?
Oh, I think they just stand out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I can't remember, but the thing in the middle, of course, is the Scout emblem, and then the curved bar underneath.
Did you ever wear your pins
to any function outside of scouting?
Occasionally. I was one of the ones that I would sometimes even wear my uniform to school, even when I was in high school, which is very unusual.
Yes.
Um,
On the uniforms, did you always purchase them, or could they have been sewn by your mom?
No, you purchased them. You purchased them.
Yes.
They often had some sort of arrangement, though, that within a troop, for instance, so that maybe if you had outgrown a part of a uniform, you could pass it down to the next thing. So they often had that kind of thing for people, kids, because it does get expensive.
I kind of remember looking through the mail order catalogs, and I think I saw them in there that you could purchase them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Montgomery Ward's or Sears.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. And like Montgomery Ward, Sears.
Alden's.
I don't know. I remember down here in Iowa, in Ames, for the Boy Scouts, Bledsoe always had the Boy Scout uniforms. Do you remember Bledsoe's store?
No.
It's down on Main Street, and it was a men's store.
Okay.
And it always had the downstairs was always a Boy Scout area where they could do it. But there were, I think JCPenney's often had uniforms, and but then later on they were often sold through the console too. So
sure,
yeah.
The in Boy Scouts, I know there's an Eagle Scout award. Now, Girl Scouts, because you work more as a troop, is there what might?
Oh yeah, when you get up to seniors, you go do more independently. You don't earn as much badge work as such. I can't remember. I don't know all the patches and things that they do now, but there is a gold award, which is supposed to be the equivalent of an eagle. And the gold award there's a silver award, and then there's a gold award. The silver award, I think, has a 25 hours of a service project, 25 hours. A gold award has a 50-hour service project, where you have to plan the project and then do it. My daughter got a silver award. She never did complete her gold award. She was trying to figure out something to do, but it was just too busy. So.
And what do you remember? What some of those might have been that girls did complete in order to get their gold award?
Oh, I've looked them up, but I can't remember everything. I think I know if you go on to Gold Award, there's a website where you can see what some of the projects were, but I didn't make a note of what some of the projects were. But there are things like I think sometimes there are a couple girls work together. I think there was one here in central Iowa where they rehabbed a shelter or something to open it up for the community so that people could use it for outdoor activities and things like that.
Now, is there a National Girl Scout Roundup?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
That used to, but I went to one.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Okay. You had them up through 1965. 65 was the last roundup. It was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And it was, I think I've seen either 5,000 or 9,000 girls and a couple thousand adults. And you tried out for the roundup in your local council. And then they had so many, you could get so many patrols for your council, and each council and a patrol was 8 girls. And so I tried out and I made it. And you practice with your patrol, and you practice putting up the tents and doing the cooking, because it was at the old Farragut Naval Base. And they so that's in the panhandle of Idaho. And so then you learn to set up your tents because what you had is you had your patrol, which had 4 tents, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a tarp for a cooking area, and whatever cooking area. And we had a box that had all our cooking stuff, all our equipment in it. And we knew how to pack that and had to get it right in, just so. And then there were 4 other troops, so they made a square. Each had a short triangle of the square
Mm-hmm.
when we set up out there. So I think our troop was. I know we had one from a patrol from Idaho. I think we had a patrol from Iowa, northern Iowa, someplace, and I can't remember where the other patrol was from. And so then that was our troop site, and then there were troop sites for each of the ones, and there was a leader, an adult, for that troop they had a tent of their own over to the side.
Well, you have a picture, and in that picture, there's an orange crate. What's the significance?
Well, this gets back to my camping.
Okay.
This was not for Roundup. I'll talk more about Roundup later.
Okay.
This is when I first went to camp.
Yes.
You notice the green. There were green shorts and white shirt. So practical for camping.
And how old were you here?
I was probably about 9.
Uh-huh.
I think I figured out I went for the first time. Oh, I have my notes here, but I can't read them right now. But yeah, it was about 9. It was just right after I flew up into the thing I could go to camp.
Mm-hmm.
And my duffel bag and the orange crate was our bedside table.
Okay.
This is another difference between Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts.
So is that what were you instructed to bring something so you have a table?
This was just a suggestion.
Oh, okay.
So my dad went out and got one, and we've got it fancier over the years. Eventually, I think he put a towel roll on one side, a towel rack on one side, so that I could hang up my washcloth. But Girl Scouts go different than Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts tend to go as a troop, and they go for the whole for a week as a troop. Girl Scouts again go more independently, and they sign up for a set. And while the Boy Scouts were in the tents, just the tents that were on the ground and they had a ground cloth under it, we did a little bit of that, but not a lot. For one thing, Girl Scout troops didn't usually have the money to invest in a tent or enough tents to cover all the girls. Boy Scouts were able to get that, and they had it for a long time. But so the Girl Scout, I don't know if you can see this or not.
Yes,
but these were our tents. They had a platform and a frame up over the head with the canvas. And there you can see inside there's one of the orange crates.
Yes.
And then we had beds that were, the beds with the old springs and a mattress and then a sleeping bag.
It was kind of like roughing it.
That was roughing it for us.
And the only way then that you had food to eat was if you cooked it?
Oh, no.
Oh,
we had a dining hall. And the Boy Scouts too, that when they go for a week, they do some cooking out, but they also have a dining hall where they go for most of their meals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My mother always used to laugh because she would send my brothers out with their duffel bag of clean clothes and everything, and they come back with a duffel bag of clean clothes.
Oh,
why?
They didn't change clothes?
How did that happen?
Well, they don't change their clothes very much.
No. Boys don't do that.
Yeah, they probably have. I think they usually wore jeans when they were out there for most of the time, and their Boy Scout shirts, which were dark green. So they just never forgot to change them. Yeah, but don't ask me about the underwear.
So, Ginny, what about the activities?
I came home with dirty clothes. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Ginny, what about the activities of a Girl Scout camp? What were some things?
Okay,
that
again,
you did?
we had a large, we had a dining hall. We went down for meals. Well, you had cookouts once at least one night a week because we went for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We went on a Sunday afternoon, and we came back on had a full 2 week or almost 2 weeks, and then we came back Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And every Thursday night at our camps, at least, it was cook's night out. So we got to do the cooking. We had to cook our own meals. And I remember one camp that I was at, and because you go out and you cook, and then you put garbage in the can. And at night, you could hear the raccoons go from one camp to the next camp to the next camp
Yeah.
and bring the garbage cans.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my senior, when I was a counselor, one of the senior leaders said, "Oh, I found it," because they had latrines. Of course, they had latrines. They did not have flush toilets.
Mhm.
And you had one. Of course, you had K&P duty every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of went around because there were about usually 25 kids or so, girls in the camp. So, you'd have different, tent 1 is doing this today, and tent 2, and they had chores for everybody.
Mhm.
And one of the things was to clean the latrines. They did have usually a wash, a covered area, wooden, just a covered area with a big trough with faucets and a wash tub, so you could wash your hands and feet, but it's cold water.
Yeah.
But then when you went swimming, they usually had hot water down there. That's where you took your shower.
That's
Okay.
good.
So you went swimming almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the camps that I went to were all lakes. They went to a lake.
Mm-hmm.
And we did cooking. We did some cooking. We had meals at the dining hall. Did lots of singing.
Did you have talent shows?
Oh yeah. I don't remember too many of them, but
Mhm.
yeah, we did talent shows. We did usually on Sunday we had what we call a Scouts Own, which was a sort of a time to reflect and think about things. And of course, all the Catholic girls had to go. They had to have a skirt along so they could put on their skirt and go in to camp or into church on Sunday morning.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Friday night we had to have fish or something like that.
Yeah.
That was the sort of typical thing. But
Yes. Yes.
we did lots of singing.
Neat.
I have a song folder of cards about that thick of songs, and this is somewhere here. I have a songbook.
What will you do? Oh, yes. What will you do with all of your scouting paraphernalia eventually?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there a
Pass it on to
scout
people.
museum somewhere? Is there a scout museum somewhere?
I don't know. I'm sure the council has some stuff, but
Mhm.
there's probably a lot of my stuff around,
Yeah.
or for my era. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've given away most of the uniforms I passed on to somebody that maybe would have them for the costume stuff and things like that. So I do have. We did most of the things, but I don't know what I did to my, as I said, my
Your sash?
badge sash.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is. I know I see it.
Wonderful.
Well, Ginny, we're nearing the end of our time, and I'd like to ask you, in all this wonderful scouting that you did for so many years, what was the highlight for you?
I think, it's always the highlight, but I think the roundup was the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
That was really great. And I guess I should show you this is my boa thing that I had to wear for the roundup.
Oh, okay.
Scouts in the roundup.
Yes.
Yeah. Going out, we went out on the train from Cleveland. I lived in Cleveland at that time. We went out on the train, and it was I think at least one night out. And then we slept we were in maybe it was 2 nights. We had an old sleeping car, and we had a compartment that could have been opened up to make for 4 people. We had 8 people in it. We had the dining hall. The dining was in old car with a big, heavy picnic table in the middle. And we ate on that with the bouncy train.
Yeah.
And then, but when we got out there, it was just so neat to be with among these girls. And then we had a couple times when we would gather everybody together. And we would have it in the amphitheater and sing. And things like, whenever you make a promise, Consider well its importance, and when made, engrave it upon your heart. Well, if
That's
you can imagine
It's a wonderful way to end our
7,000 people singing that
yeah.
in a round.
Mm.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing all this wonderful fun.
Thank you,
stuff that
Virginia.
you did in your growing up years. And
Guests of who are watching right now, don't forget to subscribe, hit that red button and the blue thumbs up button, and tell your friends, even your relatives, about this 1950s Fun Chat. So till next time, toodaloo.